Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to the Guitar Underground. I'm your host, Neil Santos. And I'm happy to be back here with you guys, playing a little guitar, jibber-jabbering about the 6-string instrument we've all dedicated our lives to. Today, we're going to talk about bridging the pentatonic positions, all right? Sometimes the biggest wall on the fretboard isn't between the frets, it's between the scale positions, you know? Many intermediate players know all 5 shapes. Do you know all 5? You've memorized them, you've practiced them, but when it's time to improvise, maybe you still sound like you're trapped inside one small rectangle, right? We want to break you out of that. Imagine your pentatonic positions are like 5 rooms, maybe in a house, in the same house. Most players keep walking around the living room because it's familiar, right? But the hallway connecting every room has always been there. And that's today's episode is about learning to use those hallways. All right, so by the end of the episode, you'll understand why connecting positions is easier than you think, the biggest mistakes players make when they're trying to move, 5 simple ways to bridge boxes naturally, and how to stop seeing 5 separate patterns and start seeing one connected fretboard. All right? If you're enjoying the Guitar Underground, be sure to follow, subscribe, so you never miss a new episode. Every week, we're working towards one goal. That's making the fretboard simpler, clearer, and a whole lot more fun. Whole lot of partying. Cool. So let's get into it. Fact number 1. The boxes were never meant to be separate, right? The 5 pentatonic positions aren't 5 different scales. They're 5 views of exactly the same notes. All right? Think of them as like in that house again, or think of them like they're at overlapping windows looking at the same landscape, right? So you have 5 windows in a wall, and you're just looking at the same landscape through all of them. So imagine maybe a player that memorizes all 5 diagrams or practices each one separately. When it comes time to improvise, they'll have to reset every time that they move. Maybe that's how you feel, you know? So what you want to do is be able to flow through them. We want to try to reframe this experience as you're not switching scales. You're simply changing your point of view on the scales. And once you stop thinking of the new box and start thinking of the same scale from a new angle, moving between them becomes much less intimidating. All right? Fact number 2, slides are natural bridges. Slides are huge when switching positions between the pentatonic scales. And we're going to show you how to do that in a bit. But one slide connects 2 positions effortlessly. Instead of jumping mentally, you can get, practice just sliding from one right into the other. And any string you're on is an opportunity to slide into the next one. Whatever note you're on, you can always just slide up to the next shape or down to the shape below it. All right. Instead of turning around, slide into the next position and continue your idea. Say you're going up one shape, the first shape, everybody knows the first shape. You're going up there and you get halfway and you're like, I want to go somewhere else. Instead of going back down, slide up or slide down. The movement isn't an interruption to your phrase, it's a continuation of your phrase. I like that. Fact 3, shared notes are hidden doorways, right? Neighboring pentatonic positions overlap and several notes belong to both boxes. And those notes become transition points, anchors that you can find and jump into that shape, play, licks that are kind of familiar to you. Instead of stopping to think, I'm leaving box 1 now, you simply realize parts of box 1 and box 2 are in box 2, right? They're the same. So the overlap, that can be confusing at first, but it also becomes your bridge or a bridge. Fact number 4, phrases connect better than patterns. All right. So listeners hear musical ideas. They don't hear box numbers. So they don't know when you're going from one box to another. If you interrupt every phrase to like jump to the next box, it's going to sound mechanical, right? Instead, you finish the phrase first and then move. Or even better, for extra bonus points, move during the phrase, you know? So instead of doing this, you play in one phrase, and then you're like, all right, now I got to switch to box 2. I have to switch to box 3. Right? Instead, pretty cool. That's what you want to go for, where it's like you can easily just migrate in between all 5 boxes. So don't fill in the boxes. Follow the musical sentence. Don't say, I got to use every note out of this box and this is my boundaries. You have no boundaries on the guitar, man. That's what I'm telling you. That's where I want to get you to. No boundaries. All right. Fact 5, direction creates emotion. And this is huge. It's more like a psychology of pitch, right? Moving higher builds excitement. Moving lower creates release, right? Movement itself becomes part of the story that you're trying to tell with your solo. So if you're playing in A again, and then, so right there. And then if I want to go up, it gets more exciting, right? And then I'll go down. Almost lost where I was. That's the idea. You're just moving up, moving down, and you can feel the excitement when you start going up. Like, oh, even if it's the end of a phrase, like you go down low, and at the very last second before that group of 4 chords ends, you do a little like up. So, oh, we're not done yet, and it sets the listener up to expect another 4 bars at least of jamming, right? And let your band know too, because not only are you like communicating with the listener, as far as what to expect and telling your story, but you're also communicating with your bandmates, right? Especially if you're jamming and it's not sort of like laid out, like arranged, like, all right, we're going to do it for this many bars. And when you hear this note, this is when it ends or whatever, or you play the same thing every time, right? You need to kind of let them know, okay, keep going, which is a really cool part of jamming. And it's something you need to learn, how to communicate with just notes. I mean, you could look at them and be like, all right, keep going, Bella, keep going. But it's even cooler if you can just do it and they feel it, But yeah, let me see. What was I going to say? Yeah, don't stay planted in one position. Gradually climb the neck during the climax or the resolution, the release of all that tension. Yeah, let me see. Position changes aren't just navigation points, they're emotional tools. So don't just be moving to move. Have a reason, like a plan, right? I'm moving. My strategy is I'm going to move up after every 2 or 3 licks in this box, right? Maybe start that way, very intentional, and after a while you get used to I can just move when I want to. But at first, when you're switching these boxes, maybe it's more intentional. Yeah, cool, man. So that was 5 facts, why bridging the gaps between these pentatonic scales is a good idea to work on. And we're going to look at 5 actionable tips so you can work it into your practicing. But first, I have to do the obligatory ad read for Pentatonic Way, my passion project. This actually reminds me of something I've been seeing a lot with Pentatonic Way students. 2 students can be equally motivated to get stuck but get stuck for completely different reasons. One might struggle with moving between positions, while another one's overwhelmed by trying to learn too much at once, right? And that's exactly why I created the free Pentatonic Way personality quiz. It only takes a couple minutes, and it'll help you identify the biggest things you're looking for, or biggest things that's holding you back you're playing right now. Excuse me. This is why I don't do ad reads for a living. Once you finish, you'll also get a free 3-lesson email course that's tailored to your playing style and designed to help you make progress without feeling overwhelmed. If you'd like to check it out, just head over to pentatonicway.com/personality, or you can click the link at the top that says free lessons. Everybody likes free lessons. I like giving you free lessons. That's why I do this. I just want to make everybody, give them a chance to be the best player they can be. I can't make you be anything, but I can give you the tools, and, maybe it's what you need right now. Maybe it's not. That's fine too. But all right, let's get into 5 actionable tips that you can use today to work this sort of thing, break down those walls in between the pentatonic shapes, and improve your playing. So we got tip 1, practice using only 2 boxes, right? Forget all 5. Spend an entire week connecting just position 1 and position 2. You probably know 1, and position 2, that's a great one to learn because it butts right up against it, and it helps you ascend the neck a little bit more and extend your range. So master 1 bridge before learning all 4 of the rest. All right. So I have a little jam track here, and I can show you what this might sound like. There we go. This is in B minor, Samurai jam tracks. All right. So let's see. Oops, I went to 3 shapes there. Hold on. All right. Octaves are optional. You don't have to do octaves. That was a short backing track. Oh, I guess it's not done yet. There's like another 8 minutes that they just paused. All right, cool. It worked out. But yeah, there's a couple places that are really handy. You just got to find them. Handy to switch between the shapes is what I meant to say. Like here, if we're playing B minor, the first shape there at the 7th fret, if you're listening at home, there's a place right here on the G string where you can play it's the flat 3 to the 4, and that's like the 7th fret to the 9th fret. And then to get to the second shape, you can just slide up 2 frets. That's a good place. So whenever there's a whole step, if the next shape up the neck includes a whole step from whatever note you're on at the moment, that's a great place to switch shapes. Even down here, like in the second shape, there's these 2 whole steps in the bottom strings, B and E. That's 10, 12, 10, 12. So that might be a good place too, Like you can slide on the ones that are minor thirds too, you know, but it just sounds a little different because it's a long slide, you know. And like the next note is like a second away. So you get that rub, which I kind of like, but not everybody likes it, you know. I like that sort of. Sounds like it's purring, right? So you just need to find which bridges work for you, or if they all work for you, and in which ways you can use them, right? Each one of those had like a different color to it, if you will, or flavor, whatever your analogy is, art or cooking or whatever. You just need to familiarize yourself with all the ways in between those two shapes. And to do that, you just focus on those two for a while. All right. So that's tip number one. Tip number two, use one note as home base, right? So pick a note both positions share and improvise around it and move away and come back. This teaches your ears how both positions belong together. All right. So for example, C, we'll stay in the same B minor. Now here's the root. We'll use that as our bass note here. Not bass note, but our anchor. And then it's also there. So that doesn't help, but right there. So it's not exactly the same note. I mean, we could use that one, but let's say we have the B here and we get the B here, right? So if we can play this, that we can go. That's the idea. You just try to find like, here's two notes that work together, or it could be these two, right? So if you're using the flat 3 as your note, you have to, sometimes be creative and stuff like that. So that's the idea. Just try to find common ground. In between the shapes, so you can like repurpose and reuse the same licks. And that's great for building motifs, small ideas that like give your solo a sort of sense that it sticks together, that it belongs together, and not just a random menage a trois. I don't know, menagerie. That's what I was going to say. Where'd my mind go? Menagerie of notes or licks that you just threw together, right? That have no, common sort of thread. That's what a motif is. Also, you can like build excitement, like we were saying, like if you do a lick down here, and then you go, you build an excitement because automatically it's gone up in pitch, right? So it's undeniable that it's bringing more energy to it. So that's tip number 2. Tip number 3 is force one position change per solo. So every backing track, every jam, require yourself to move at least once. Don't worry about the speed. Just make movement part of your habit, right? You can do that with just 2 shapes, 3 shapes, 4 shapes, whatever you need to do, whatever you feel comfortable with, right? So that might look like this. Let me get back to the old track. Yeah, that's the idea. So there I was trying to move up. I moved from shape 1 all the way through all 5 shapes back to shape 1 at the end, and I wasn't in a rush. I tried to be chill, and I thought it sounded pretty cool. And listen to the backing track. I'm not really paying attention to what chords are playing. I'm just kind of feeling what chords are playing and then like sticking in one scale and trying to say, oh, where would this go? Where would that go? Oh, how'd that sound? No rush, no speed, just kind of every end of a phrase, move up a shape. Now, I know all 5 shapes pretty well, so I just moved for each one. But if you only know 2, don't push yourself too hard. I mean, take it easy on yourself. I'd rather you take your time and get 2 shapes done and kind of really understand them than force yourself too much and know 5 shapes like you don't know them. You know what I mean? So I'd rather you be don't be a jack of all trades, right? And master of none. I'd rather you master some and then add one to that. So now you know 3, then add one. Now you know 4, rather than kind of knowing all of them. I want you to know the shapes, I don't want to make you think I don't want you to memorize the 5 shapes. Go and memorize the 5 shapes. But I'm just saying, every time you practice it, you're going to get better. But for this exercise in particular, going deep on 2 shapes and understanding and practicing moving between them, do 2 until you get so bored of it, and then add the 3rd one until you're so bored of it, and then add the 4th one. But still, in between those, whenever you're playing, just always kind of drill the 5 shapes, just going up and down. Just make sure you know them. Because then when you get to the 5th shape and you want to drill deep on it, you already kind of know it, right? So, all right. I just went off the rails there for a bit, but I hope you understand what I'm saying. I'm not saying wait to learn the 5th shape until you do this exercise and you get to the 5th shape. No, it's probably best that you just memorize the 5 shapes and then familiarize yourself with them later. You can memorize it and then familiarize it, if that makes any sense. Okay, enough words. Too many words, right? I seem to ramble on. That's all right. I can't help it. Tip 4, connect with slides only. Spend 5 minutes improvising where every position change happens with the slide. And we kind of went over this a little bit. And you'll quickly discover how naturally the fretboard flows, and you'll find these different areas where you're like, ooh, I like how that sounds or whatever. Or I've heard that before. I've heard how that sounds. I notice other people do that. Or even better, I haven't heard that before. People don't do that a whole lot. I'm going to do that. That's the stuff I love. Where you're like, ooh, that sounds new. That sounds like someone doesn't do it. Let's make that musical, So we already kind of talked about that. So I won't just demo that right now, but you get what I mean. Just solo and work on those slides. Just find all the places you can slide between 2 shapes and then decide what you like about those or dislike. All right. And tip number 5, learn connection licks. Instead of memorizing more boxes, memorize 3 or 4 short phrases that naturally travel between positions, right? And soon those will become part of your vocabulary. Now, I did a video in the past called the Pentatonic Superhighway. That's what I call it. And there's 2 of them, actually. And they're all whole steps for the most part, right? So say we're in A minor. All guitarists love A minor. So you have the A minor pentatonic on the 5th fret. Now, what you do is you start on the shape below it. So that 5th shape, you start on the 3rd fret. You might already know this, but if you don't, this is going to really help you out. All right, so this is going to be 5, 3, 3, 5, 3, 5. Yeah, it won't help you out if I say it wrong. 3, 5, 3, 5, and then slide. Now you're in the 1st shape, right? All right, and then you're going to play the next 2 strings down. 5, 7, 5, 7, slide. So that's the octave of what you just played. And now we're going to do that again, another octave. But because of the B situation we got going on, we go down a string but up a fret. So now you're on 8, 10, 8, 10, 8, 10, slide. So we've gone from the third shape to the first shape to the second shape. Going both ways, you know? Cool. So that's the first one. And the second one starts actually on the third shape. So we're on the first shape at the fifth. That's 5, 8. The second shape starts at 8 to 10. And the third shape starts 10 to 12, right? So you can actually, I was mistaken. It starts on the second shape. So start on the second shape and you slide right up from there. So this one starts with the slide between 8 and 10. And then go down 10, 12, 10, 12, 10, 12. You're in the third shape there. You're on the D string now and slide that up to the 14. Now we're in the fourth shape. We're going to go 12, 14, 13, 15. Slide to the 17th fret, and then 15, 17 on the bottom string. So we get this again. I could see maybe that's more, you can hear that more in C major. But it could work over A minor too. So try to find pathways like that, little licks you like. Or, like here's, I know that Billy Gibbons likes to use this note, like from A minor, in this note, from the second position A minor. That's a good one that switches positions, and you're playing the same note. You just kind of, instead of just going, which is fine, you get some more emotion out of it if you slide up to that same note on the other string. So mess around with that, like this might be the lick, but then, that one lick, you have to find a way into it and you have to find a way out of it. And there's just an infinite amount of choices to both of those ways, like the beginning and the end. So, that one little lick and it gives you that bridge between the shapes, but how are you going to get into it and how are you going to leave it, So yeah, that's another way you can do it. All right. Cool. Hopefully this has been helpful. Today's big idea was simple. Like the goal isn't to memorize more positions. It's to remove the walls between them. And once those walls disappear, the fretboard starts to feeling like one connected musical landscape instead of 5 isolated boxes. So if you've been feeling stuck, don't take that as a sign that you're not talented enough or that you need another complicated scale, because you don't. More often than not, you just need a better way to connect what you already know. Small changes in how you see the fretboard can unlock a huge amount of freedom in your playing. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which position do you feel most comfortable in, and which transition gives you the most trouble? Your answer might even inspire a future episode, so that would be helpful. If you found this helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you follow or subscribe or share the episode with another guitarist who's been stuck in the same box. The more players we can help simplify the fretboard, the more confident musicians we'll have in this community. So remember, freedom on the fretboard doesn't come from learning more boxes. It comes from learning how to connect the ones that you already know. All right. Well, until next week, it's Neil Santos from the Guitar Underground saying thank you so much for watching and keep on picking. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.